Welcome to Mornings with Maggie. I'm here live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And today is Friday. And today, because it's Friday, it's book talk. So we'll be talking about my books. Every Friday we'll do a different series or a different special or promotion or something. So for those just tuning in and joining me here, I'm Maggie Shayne. I'm an author and creative entrepreneur and kind of a part-time life coach, and I really love talking to you guys. I'm enjoying this Facebook Live thing, so let's see what we can do with it. On Mondays, we talk about tips for writers. We're calling it the Storyteller's Masterclass. And on Wednesdays, we talk about law of attraction and different ways you can use that powerful force to create the life of your dreams. And on Fridays, right here, we talk about my books. So here I am today. We're going to discuss the Brown and DeLuca series. The Brown and DeLuca series currently has 5 stories in it. I grabbed a couple of copies, the paperback copies, and put up here for your viewing pleasure. However, I think they might be showing up backwards on my screen. So, you know, as has been this whole week, this is a learning curve, and I'm getting it as I go along. The first book in the Brown and DeLuca series was Sleep with the Lights On, and I kind of think it's probably the best work of my career. I really, really love the book. I think it's some of my best writing. And it's a romantic thriller. And the idea for this book was inspired in a lot of different ways. This book has been in my subconscious for many, many, many years. I think I noticed that most when I grabbed an old title of mine called Forgotten, which is out now. I wrote that book probably 15 years ago, and it too was a romantic suspense, but it was a kind of a lighter romantic suspense. It was written for the Silhouette Intimate Moments line. When I got that book out recently to reread and do a rewrite on it to make it, you know, relatable to the modern day, and it's now part of the Shattered Sisters series. It's book 2 of that series. Book 1, by the way, is Reckless, and it's free. So if you want some romantic suspense for nothing, grab Reckless and E. Forgotten, though. Forgotten had a heroine who was psychic and who somehow tapped into the mind of a serial killer. When I got that book out to rewrite it for now, I realized that there were shades of Rachel DeLuca, the main character from my Sleep with the Lights On, my Brown and DeLuca series. There were shades of her already starting to kind of shine through in this other character. There were hints. It was kind of a foreshadowing, maybe an earlier version. There were things that came back up. There was the heroine's sister was very similar to Rachel's sister. The brother-in-law was a little bit similar. Where they lived was kind of similar. There were a lot of little things creeping up, and the dreams, the psychic dreams that she was having, were very similar. So I had the idea way back then, and then I think, like everything else in the world, we see things throughout the day, and we get little ideas, and we get things that inspire ideas, and we writers, we kind of throw them down to the girls in the basement. And for those who don't know, the girls in the basement is what we women writers refer to as our subconscious. Sometimes it feels like we get ideas and we see things that impress us, and we see things that maybe just make us think a little bit, and we just toss them down to the girls in the basement and forget about them. And while we're going about our daily lives, minding our own business, not even aware of it, those girls in the basement are weaving these things all together. And eventually, when they get whole cloth, they shoot it back up to us. I imagine it's something like the vacuum tube at the bank. They shoot them back up to us, and suddenly we have a book. That's how it works for me. And I think, to be fair, the term was coined by Stephen King, I think in his book on writing. And he called them the boys in the basement, of course. So let me just see who is here. Oh, Deborah, hi. I'm so glad you liked the series. Thank you very much. Lona, hello again, Lona. How you doing? Good morning. Diane, hi, Diane. All right, we've got people tuning in. So for newcomers, this is Mornings with Maggie. I'm Maggie Shayne. I'm an author and entrepreneur, and today we're talking about my Brown and DeLuca series. Okay, so back to the girls in the basement. At some point between the book Forgotten, which had some similar things to it, and the book Sleep with the Lights On. There were 15, maybe 18 years in between those two books. And there were things that I was picking up and throwing down to the girls in the basement during that whole time. And one of those things was a book I read that was called Change of Heart. And I have some notes here, so bear with me. I'm going to look at my notes. Sylvia. Her name was Sylvia, and I'm forgetting her last name. So, Claire Sylvia. Thank you. It was a memoir by Claire Sylvia, Change of Heart. And it was about her story of receiving a heart transplant. And when she got the heart transplant, immediately after she came out of the hospital craving chicken McNuggets, she had a sudden penchant for motorcycles that she'd never had before. And so from that, I kind of got this idea of maybe when you get an organ transplant, you get a little bit something extra too along with it. So it's really, really interesting to me, and I don't see why it wouldn't be true. And so after I read that book, I went online and I started researching this, and there's a lot of accounts of people getting transplants and having suddenly liking foods they never liked before, suddenly liking music they never liked before. It fascinated me. It absolutely fascinated me. So that went down to the girls in the basement. Then there was another thing, and this was probably even earlier. There was a movie, maybe some of you remember. The movie was called The Eyes of Laura Mars, and it starred, Tommy Lee Jones was in it, and let's see, who else was in it? I'm trying to remember the actress's name. I should have reviewed my notes before I got online. But at any rate, it was a fabulous movie, and the heroine was blind. And it just really, really, really impressed me. And that, Faye Dunaway, thank you. Faye Dunaway it was, finally. All right, so that kind of went into the basement too. And so all these things were churning around together. And I think all of it went into this book. When I sat down to start writing Sleep with the Lights On, it just came like a flood. There was no slowness to it at all. There was no work to it. There was not a lot of plotting to it. I just literally sat down and started writing the story. And that's how it came to me. So that's a little bit about the background that went into Sleep with the Lights On and this series. Now, in today's episode, on the Law of Attraction days, I try to not look at the comments as I go along, because it distracts the flow of the information that I'm bringing you. But this is just informal chit-chat back and forth. So feel free to ask me questions. I do have things I want to tell you about here, but jump right in with questions if you have them about this series. I know that this is one of the favorites out there, the Brown and DeLuca series. So for those who have been asking, yes, they are going to continue. So yes. So let me just see what other interesting tidbits. Oh, I wanted to tell you about another story with a blind lead character that really, really got to me. And this went directly to the basement, and I think it went with a, imperative note on it, because this stuck with me forever. It was a book called Candle in the Window by Christina Dodd. It was a medieval romance, and it blew me away, and I loved the story so much. So I knew even back then, and I think it was maybe 76, I don't know, it was an old book. I'm giving away my age here, but it was been out a while. Its sequel, Castles in the Air, you might or might not know this little bit of romance novel trivia. Christina Dodd's book, Castles in the Air, pretty much launched her career. And the reason that it was so widely known was because in the original paperback copy, the heroine on the cover had 3 arms. The art department had decided to reposition one arm from like down here to up here or something, and they forgot to cover over the first one. So she had 2 arms on one side and one on the other. I have the original. I'll post a picture after this session is over, but that's a little side journey there for you, a little romance novel trivia. So I hope you enjoyed that. So all those things went into Rachel DeLuca and her story. Now, the Potty Mouth Rachel has a potty mouth. I just got a fan mail the other day from a lovely reader who said to me that she loves the Brown and DeLuca. She's been reading her whole life. She's in her 70s now. She's been reading her whole life, and she thinks it's some of the finest writing ever. Thank you so much, dear reader. That touched my heart. But then she went on to say, if only Rachel didn't have such a potty mouth. Well, the potty mouth of Rachel DeLuca, I must admit, kind of comes from me. I tend to have no censor. I'm a wordsmith, okay? I work with words. I use words to convey emotions and feelings and situations, and sometimes there's only one word that fits what I'm trying to say. So that's the word I use, and I think we all know what word I'm talking about. So there. So I tend to think nobody really has any business telling us which words are okay to say and which words are not okay to say. I try not to use the Lord's name in vain, because that is deeply offensive to people who really, really believe it's wrong. And so for that reason, I don't like to unnecessarily offend people. But I'll drop the F-bomb left and right. I will. And Rachel's personality came through to me. When I first started writing Rachel, I kind of started free writing a note from Rachel, first person. She came to me first person. She's always stayed first person. And I really wanted her to be a self-help author. I wanted her to be kind of a guru and a well-known, successful one. And I wanted her to have a career of shining, the positivity and the light. And that was what I had in mind for her. And as soon as I started writing that, from her, and you'll pardon the noise as I live in farm country, so what you hear right there is a tractor just going by, and that's going to happen many times a day. I love where I live, so no problems there. So the first time I started writing Rachel, she just sort of said, "You're fucking kidding me, right?" And she really came through. She just came through so strongly. She had the potty mouth right away, and she also thought that all this sweetness and light stuff that I was wanting her to be spouting was kind of bull. And so that's the way she came through to me. And I realized as I started writing her, I had to be true to who she is. My muse has given me this stuff. I need to be true to it. So I have to be true to who she is. And I tried to be. And I thought it's kind of cool because it'll give me the opportunity to show her as a skeptic who knows how to spin the tales and knows how to tell the story and knows how to, coach people into positive attitudes, but at the same time, she didn't believe it. And what a fun thing to have a character like this start seeing that things really are kind of the way she's been saying they are, even though she didn't really believe it. And to kind of come to understand and believe in it herself. So that was her growth arc. A character has to have growth. They have to start in point A and end up in point B. And you really want to see a nice arc in between. They need to grow and change, or your story is pretty much empty. So let me just check comments here. Lona says her grandma used to say, "Well, bless your sweet little heart." She must have been from the South. I think, well, bless her heart is a Southern thing, maybe, but I love it. I love it. That's great. And that's a way to get away with not using the potty mouth. But Rachel's a potty mouth. So through all 4 or 5 stories, she's constantly, now she's got children around her. She's got the heroes, 2 nephews that they are now raising together, Mason Brown's nephews, Joshua and Jeremy. And Josh is still on the young side. He's 11 or 12 now, and he's probably, actually, the next book, he's probably going to have to be 13. It's been a while. So she's constantly like, oh, and trying to correct herself and stop herself. And it's kind of fun because I do that. You'll find there's a lot of me in most of my books. I do that all the time. I have grandkids. And I got to tell you, I'm constantly slipping in front of the grandkids, and their moms will cover their ears and roll their eyes at me. So I do bad things. Bad Grammy. So the potty mouth is all mine. Let's see what else I wanted to. Here's a little tidbit you don't know about. Oh, I just dropped my iPad. Okay, Jessica, if you text me, I won't get it. Oh, yes, I haven't told you that as I was writing Brown and DeLuca and creating these characters, especially the nephews, Jeremy and Joshua Brown, it was within 2 years after that, one of my daughters started dating a fellow by the name of Joshua Brown. And now they're married, and he's a part of my family. So go figure, how does that happen, right? That's a little bit of Brown and DeLuca trivia for you. So I'm going to watch the comments. I'm going to see if anyone has questions. And let me just, once again, for anyone coming in late, I'm Maggie Shayne, and this is Mornings with Maggie. And this is Friday, so on Fridays it's Book Talk, and we're discussing my books, the Brown and DeLuca series, a series of romantic thrillers with a slight paranormal twist. So the books there are 5 stories so far. The first is Sleep with the Lights On, and then Wake to Darkness, and followed by Innocent Prey and Deadly Obsession. There's also a free right now in only. It's an ebook exclusive, and it is free, called Dream of Danger, and it fits between books 1 and 2, but I think it even fits a little better between books 2 and 3, because that's when I got to that plot, and it sets up a little bit. It's not necessary to the series. If you only read print, don't worry, you're not missing much. I can't release it for you because Harlequin still holds the rights to these stories, at least the ones that have been written so far, and I can't get them back yet. So when I do, I definitely will be putting that out in print for you. But in the meantime, it's only, Dream of Danger, and it's free, so check that out. And while I'm telling you what to do, bossy thing, aren't I? Please click the follow button on your screen so that you'll get notified anytime I go live. Right now we're doing this 3 times a week. We're doing, Mondays we're doing a Storytellers Masterclass with tips for writers and novelists and creative entrepreneurs of all sorts. And on Wednesdays, we are doing Law of Attraction Masterclass, where we talk about manipulating the forces of the universe to create the life you want. And on Fridays, it's Book Talk, so that's where we are. So please click that follow button and give the page a like. That will also work, the Facebook page. Give that a like, and you should get notified whenever I come on live. So there's that. So let me see if I have any other tidbits to tell you about Brown and DeLuca. And hello, Christy. Hi, Christy. It's good to see you here. I see Tina. I feel like when I was a little girl, there was a show on every morning called Romper Room. And the teacher was was it Miss Carol? She might have changed a couple times over the years, but as I recall, it was Miss Carol. And she'd look in her magic mirror, which was just the frame of the mirror, so you could see her through it. There was no glass. And she'd look at the mirror, and she'd say, and I see Peggy, and I see Wendy, and I see Bobby. And she'd just rattle off children's names, and we really believed that she could see us through the television. So thank you, Miss Carol, for creating a little magic in my childhood. That was fun. Hello, Lila. How are you doing today? You remember Romper Room. That's fantastic. So we're giving away our ages here, but you know what? It's wisdom, right? We live, we love, and we're wise as we get older. So a lot of people, Diane remembers it too. Hello, Chris. Hi. Okay, so back to Brown and DeLuca. So there are 5 stories now. One is the only, and it's free, Dream of Danger, so get that. The other 4. And I am going to be posting as soon as this is over, if not sooner. I think Jessica might post for me. I think she's on with me right now, my right-hand woman, assistant, and daughter. So we have a link that we're going to post in comments to the Brown and DeLuca page on my website, and all the links and all the outlets are there, and every one of them includes excerpts at the, at like Amazon, and at the end they have excerpts up so you can get a nice big sample before you buy. I really think you'll like Sleep with the Lights On. It's really one of my favorite books ever. So I'm going to now admit 2 mistakes that I made in these books. One of them is a little more awful than the other, I think, and I'll tell you that one first. The most horrible mistake I made is that Mason Brown is a cop and his partner is Rosie, and Rosie has a wife. And in some of the books, Rosie's wife's name is Marlena. And in some of the books, her name has mysteriously changed to Gwen. Now, when people, and you readers don't miss much, so some of you have already called me on this, and I got to tell you, it was just a brain warp. I think I originally conceived of her as Gwen, and then I decided to name her Marlena for I don't know what reason, but somewhere in my subconscious she was always Gwen. So as I was writing books, I don't know if it was 3, maybe 3 and 4, she has a different name. She went back to Gwen, and nobody caught it. Not my editor at Harlequin, not my copy editor, not the proofreaders, none of the reviewers caught it. Just a couple of savvy readers wrote in and said, hey, did Rosie like divorce and remarry, or what's going on? And I think my response was, well, Gwen's her middle name. But that's bull. I screwed up. That's the truth. The other big mistake in the Brown and DeLuca novels is one that I don't think I really could have been expected to know, and I did research. So in Wake to Darkness, there's an organ thief going around trying to take donated organs from their transplant recipients to take them back. This is a crazy person. I don't want to give away too much more than that, but the person is trying to get organs back. So I have a kidney transplant that happened, and this killer is trying to get the kidney back, and I have her going in through the back. I know it does get, these are a little bit more creepy books than what I usually do. They're thrillers, you know, they're exciting and they're dangerous and they're scary as shit. So there you go, Potty Mouth. And so she goes in through the back. Well, I had a doctor email me, and thank you for reading, doctor. I just love that you're reading the books. And he really liked the story. He had nothing but praise, but he said, next time call me first, because, you know, when they do a kidney transplant, they leave the old kidney in. They don't take it out unless, you know, there's an extenuating circumstance reason to, but they generally don't take it out. They just put the new one and they tuck it in the abdomen somewhere. And so you wouldn't, to get the new kidney back, you wouldn't go in through the back. That would be the old kidney. You'd have to go in through the front. Now, I did the research. I read, I looked, I studied, but that was a question I just didn't think about asking. I assumed, as everyone knows, kidneys are closer to the back of your body than the front. That's kind of, so when you assume, you know the rest of that one. So that was the two grave errors I made in these books, and when I finally get them back from the publisher, get the rights back and can republish them myself, those will be fixed. But for now, I'm going to just consider them endearing and quirky and leave it at that. So that's some stuff. So those are some things about Sleep with the Lights On and the Brown and DeLuca series of romantic thrillers that you might not have known. Right now, I am writing 2 new Brown and DeLuca books. One of them is going to be a shorter novel. It's called The One Who Cried Wolf. And if you subscribe to my newsletter, and that's another link that I'll post right in comments as soon as I finish up here, that is being published as I write it. This is unedited, first draft, as it comes out of me, chapter by chapter, and I'm releasing that exclusively, a chapter a month, to my newsletter subscribers. So if you haven't signed up, you might want to do it just for that. And it's kind of fun. Things change before the final draft, and it gets longer and it gets deeper and more complex. And I weave in more plot threads, and I add more points of view to the story. But when it's finished, and it'll be finished by the end of the year, then and only then will I put it up in ebook and print form, after I have done several more drafts on it. But you get to see it as it goes along, as it's being written, if you sign up for the newsletter. And again, that's The One Who Cried Wolf. And when you sign up, your welcome edition will have links to all of the episodes that you've already missed. So you're not going to miss a thing if you sign up late. So I think we're up to episode 5 now, and you're going to get an extra one this month because I skipped a month because life happens. So, so there's that. The other one is called Little Girl Blue, and I've been planning this book for 2 years now. It's going to tie in characters and events from my standalone thriller, Gingerbread Man. That's an earlier thriller of mine. I kind of left a character hanging in that book, and I've always wanted to tell her story. So I've decided to combine these two things together and tell her story in another Brown and DeLuca thriller. So, Little Girl Blue, that'll be a full-length Brown and DeLuca novel, and The One Who Cried Wolf will be a slightly shorter, but maybe not too much shorter, Brown and DeLuca novel, and they, at least One of them will be out by the end of the year. The second one, I'm shooting for Little Girl Blue to be out by the end of the year, but I think more realistically, we're talking January or February of 2017 for that one. So look in comments after we log off for those links, and you can see the Brown and DeLuca page at my website, and I hope you enjoy that very much. Let me just acknowledge people who've come in while I've been yakking away. Lamar, hi. Lamar, how you doing? And I have Cindy here. And let's see, I feel like I cut my teeth on the Twilight series. We are going to be discussing the vampire series. How about we do that next week, next Friday, okay? It'll be all Wings in the Night and Wings in the Night Reborn next Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, I want to say hello to Cindy. I think I just did. And Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. How you doing? Lila, how long before you get the rights back? Oh, that's a loaded question. You have no idea how hard I'm fighting to get my rights back, and Harlequin is fighting just as hard to keep them. And we have differences of opinion about what constitutes in print and out of print. And it's just a whole legal, we don't even want to go there. It's not positive energy. It's a little bit of a troubling situation. But the faster I can get them back, the better. However, those books, probably not coming back anytime soon. However, that doesn't stop me from writing new books in the series. So you get those, enjoy them. They're being published very nicely by Harlequin. They've got nice covers. They're available in e and in paper. And you should, you know, it's okay. Either way, no matter where you get them, I don't care as long as you read them. And hello to Nancy, who says she just loves all my books and she thinks she's read everything. I had a note from a woman the other day who said, oh, when I did the, when I announced the new Westerns coming out, she wrote me and said, oh my God, how could you do Westerns? I've read everything you've ever written, but Westerns? What were you thinking? And I said, I've done like 15 Westerns. I've been doing Westerns almost since the beginning, since like 96, 97. So yeah, the Westerns are dear to my heart. But I really love these thrillers. So Brown and DeLuca it is. And let me just look again. I've got Nancy. I've got Cindy. Yay! Cindy says yay. Lila says she's in our corner. Yeah, getting rights back is hard. At first, when the ebook phenomenon first started, they were just, we'd ask and they'd say okay, and they'd give back rights. And then suddenly it became apparent that it was going to be an issue, and authors and publishers are really, you know, knocking heads over this a little bit, and I'm sure lawyers are going to get involved eventually and rule on what, you know, what the contracts mean. But we'll let them worry about that, and we're just going to go ahead and enjoy the ones we do have. We're having a really good time with these. So that's about all I have for you today. This is Mornings with Maggie, and I'm here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. I hope you'll give me a follow in your little screen right there, and give the page a like, and I will be posting some links for you as soon as I log off here, which is in about 5 seconds. So I want to thank you all for coming. I'm enjoying this so much. And Leslie says she just started my new book, What Made Me Write About Oklahoma. She lives in Tulsa. I spent some time in Oklahoma when my son-in-law and daughter Jessica and Ben were stationed down there in Fort, why can't I remember the name, Jessica? Oh, Jessica just posted the group for the Maggie Shayne readers. I have a Maggie Shayne readers group on Facebook. I know I just jumped right off the subject. And that's a lot of fun too. And we do stream this there as well, so you'll see it there if you join the readers group. Thank you, Jessica, for posting that. So yes, Fort Sill. Thank you. That was it. Fort Sill in North Carolina, or in in Oklahoma. That's why I spent some time down there, and I really loved it. Oklahoma's fun. And also because I had previously done the Texas brand series, which was set in Texas, and I wanted something a little different but not too far away so I could get the families together, which a lot of you have been yelling at me to do and I haven't done. It's going to be hard to get characters from 15 books all in one place, because I think I'll spend pages just saying, hi Garrett, hi Wes, hi Taylor, hi Chelsea, hi. You know, it's too many. I don't know how I'll manage it. I'll have to have a brand convention, I guess. All right, so that's it for today. I'll be back here on Monday morning at 10 a.m. for our first episode of our Storytellers Masterclass. If you have a book in you, if you want to write a story, this is going to be the place for you. I'm going to start with the basics and work my way up to mastery, and we're just going to have a really good time. I think our first discussion is going to be about the conflict, romantic conflict in the romance novel and how important it is. So we'll be talking about that Monday, and I'll see you here next Friday for Wings in the Night discussion on Book Talk. And in between on Wednesday, we'll have our Law of Attraction session, and I think a lot of you are enjoying that. I certainly did enjoy that too. So thanks for coming, and I hope to see you Monday at 10 a.m. Take care. Bye-bye.